Assalamu alaikum. We're going to be beginning Unit 9, which is tasawwuq, shopping. And the first conversation is uh, on the page 191. And the first thing I want to mention is that ayya in ayya mu'jam in turidu is in nasab because it is the detail of an action, which is the action of wanting. What do you want? So ayya mu'jamin turidu. And then we see that he says أريد المعجم العربية. So المعجم العربية is an adjective phrase, and we see a mawsuf, which is the word that's described, followed by a sifa, its description, and we see that in all four properties of the ism they match. Alif lam, alif lam. Fatha at the first and the end of the first word, as at the end of the second word. They're both singular and they're both masculine. And qawaid mean principles of grammar. Okay, sentences that begin with hada. Hada and its siblings. So hada, hadihi, haula'i, and we will learn these later. But hada, if a sentence begins with hada or one of its siblings, such as hada kitabun qira'a, then if the word after hada did not have alif lam, then you put the meaning of is between them. So hada kitabun qira'a, hada, the word after hada did not have alif lam. Kitabu, it did not have alif lam, so you put the meaning of it between them. So hada kitabun qira'a. This is kitabun qira'a, the book of the reading book. So the part before the is would be called the mubtada, the thing that you begin the sentence with, or your subject. And the part after it is called the khabar, or your information about your subject. آخر. هل تريد شيئا آخر? آخر has the meaning of another, and it is an adjective for shay'an, so that's why it has a fatha on it. However, you don't see a tanween on it because words that rhyme with af'alu, they are partly flexible. That means that they do not take tanween or kasra at their ends. And you might wonder how akhar rhymes with af'alu. Well, originally it was akharu, but to smooth out the pronunciation became akharu. So it does, it is on this pattern, and that's why it is partly flexible and will not take a tanween as you see here. Instead of shay'an akharan, it's shay'an akhara. Shukran. Shukran has a fatha here because it is the detail of an action. The thinking is happening, and he's saying, I thank you, thanks. I'm thanking you, thanks. Al-matlub, the requested amount, talatuna, talatuna riyalan. Talatu means 30. And we'll see that the numbers from 20, the tens, from 20 to 90, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, they all have masculine ending with the waw noon at the end. So talatun, arba'un, 20, 20, talatun, arba'un, khamsun, sittun, sab'un, tamanun, tis'un. And riyalan. It's fatah because when you're counting numbers from 11 to 99, the object will have a nasab state. And most oftenly that is in a fatah, shown by fatah. هذه 30 ريالا. Even though 30 riyals is not actually feminine in meaning, grammatically it is when you have a collection of inanimate objects, grammatically they're treated singularly, even though they're plural in meaning. The second conversation on page 192, marhaban means welcome. Ayya khidma. Ayya had a fatha on it because there's an implied action here, which is ayya khidmatin turidina. Which service do you want? Khidma means service. And here at the end of the conversation, we see tamanuna dinaran. Tamanun means 80. And the rest of the conversation is all new vocabulary. You can see it. You can see it, all of it, on this slide here. The third conversation on page 193. Low is a harf. That means it's a particle. It had no meaning by itself unless it had context with it. So law here means if. So law samahta means if you may, or if you permit. And samaha means he permitted, but it is given the meaning of you by making the last letter silent and adding a ta with a fatha at the end, with the meaning of anta. Past tense verbs are always conjugated at the end, using the end only. Nothing will change at the beginning or the middle. The words for white, yellow, blue, black, and red. White, yellow, blue, red, and black. Abyad, asfar, azraq, ahmar, aswad. They all rhyme with af'al. So that means that they're partly flexible, and that's why you don't see هذا قميص أبيض وأصفر وأزرق وأحمر وأسود. You see هذا قميص أبيض وهذا أصفر وهذا أزرق وهذا أحمر وهذا أسود. Become means how much. It's really two words. Be, which is a harf, and kem, which is an ism for how many. So become is how much. And the reply is القميص ب20 دينارا. So, and previously we said that the tens have plural that end with wow, noon, 20, 30, 40, etc. But when they that's in the rough that's in the rough status. But when they change state to nasib or jar because of something else, as here in this example we have the word the letter ba, which forces the word after it to have a jar state. So instead of ishrun, he says القميص ب20 دينارا. ب20 دينارا. So the waw becomes a ya here. So you will have 20 30 40 50 60 70 80 90 instead of the ending with the una. The una becomes ina. And then we see he says هذا هو القميص الأزرق. هذا هو القميص الأزرق. And that huwa is there because why? If you don't have it there, then what happened? It will be هذا القميص الأزرق. And we know that if the word after hada has alif lam, then the is gone after hada. So the huwa is there to force the meaning of is to come after hada. So hada, this is the blue shirt. هذا القميص الأزرق. And these colors are all adjectives. So you see that they always match what they're describing. القميص الأزرق. الأزرق. So they're both definite. They're both masculine. They're both in the state of raf because you see a dhamma. And they're both singular. And at the end of the slide, I have listed the tens for you. 20 30 40 50 60 70 80 90 for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 respectively. On page 194 we have vocabulary, mu'jam, dictionary, daftar, notebook, qalam, pen, riyal as a currency, dinar is another currency, al-mu'jam al-Arabiyyah, the Arabic dictionary, kitab al-qira'ah, the book of reading, kitab al-qawaid, the book of grammar principles, qamis, shirt, qumsan, shirts, thawb, dress, athwab, dresses, or garments, if you will, khiyar, cucumber, basal, onion, tomatum, tomatoes, sukkar, sugar, albatul mihl, a salt shaker or salt container, tabaqu bayd, crate of eggs, tafardal, with the meaning of khud, take it. عشرون 20, ثلاثون 30, خمسون 50, ثمانون 80. And bun means copy. And on page 196, you'll see the use of different prepositions. And they're not always huruf. Some of them are ism and some of them are harf. So fi is a harf that means in. Fawqa is an ism that means above. Tahta is an ism that means below. Amama is an ism that means in front of. Khalfa is an ism that means before. Yamina is an ism that means to the right of. Shimala is an ism that means to the left of. So they're all isms except for fi, which is a harf. Lesson 51, which begins on page 197. We see different practices, exercises. How to say I want something, here's what you want. How to count numbers in real currency. Page 198. We have more exercises as well on page 199. Page 201. On page 201, we see sounds for lesson 52. And here we see the differences between the letter dal and the letter ra. And one of the biggest differences is that ra is an awesome letter. So that means that the back of the tongue is raised up and pressure put on the roof of the mouth. And as well as that ra had the characteristic of itbaq, that the sound is trapped between the tongue and the roof of the mouth. Dal, the sound is open and your tongue remains low. There, ra. There, ra. And starting on page 202, these are exercises that we should listen to and then answer. And as you notice that as we progress in the book, the exercises for listening and understanding what you've heard progress in difficulty. So I strongly urge you, like I did last time, please start listening to the audios and start answering the questions so that you can practice your understanding of what you hear. So on page 204, we see lesson 53 beginning, and this is about kalam, and we'll be doing this in class. And page 207, which is lesson 54, reading and writing. Just like we always do, we'll be reading these paragraphs and answering questions about them in class. And there's more of them now.
Baba, I lost the page by accident.
And finally on page 209, we have writing. So we see putting words together, rearranging letters to make words, and writing words according to the pictures. And that is the end of Unit 9. Inshallah, this was a brief review. And I apologize for the shortness due to lack of time. And inshallah, I will see you in class. وأقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك